Hello and welcome to a little Easter retreat, a little talk, a little introduction, a little connection, whatever you are here to get. Depending on where you are, you might be old or new, or yeah, there's some new people. We got some people coming in, whether you are tuning in on Beitostølen or Norway or Chicago or by yeah, I said but or on the sanctuary or at Bali. We got people many places, and I've usually had the hat on, but it's time to take the hat off. Kind of symbolizes a little bit. In the 1800s, all the men wore hats, but then when you came in, the proper thing was to take the hat off. I mean, so it felt kind of symbolic to take it off. It is kind of when you come into the sacred, you kind of take the hat off. And that is kind of where we are, what we're doing. The sacred is spirit, which is what we are kind of connecting with here. The spiritual energy of life. Kind of the picture came in last minute. And that is kind of where everybody has spiritual energy, but they kind of get lost. So they need an attunement to tap back in. And that is what a retreat is, or a Wisdom Wednesday, or at the sanctuary, or a big retreat. It's an attunement. It's coming back in to return and to kind of receive the guidance. So I'm kind of taking off the hat. I'm kind of giving off this guidance, giving off this wisdom that has been bestowed upon me, and giving it, and by sharing it, I also receive more. So your way of receiving is then to kind of give of yourself. A way of giving of yourself is to give of some money, to donate, either at PayPal or in the sanctuary or Vips or Venmo or whatnot. Or other parts of sharing, when you kind of deepen, is to share and bring other people into the space. Just like I share with you, you can share this space with others, letting other people to come into the space, to receive, to kind of tap in. And the word trusting the process, which started this one, which kind of fits perfectly with, because the retreat we had at Beitostølen like a few months ago was trusting the wind. And there was all these forest fires, so with the wind kind of blazing. The wind kind of symbolizes the spirit kind of coming in. And trusting the process is daring to kind of come in, and daring to see, and daring to kind of bring your sovereignty, bring your trust, bringing your presence into the space, sharing of yourself. And now more people are sharing in small communities. There's some people at Bali or Beitostølen, or here in Chicago, we're 3 people. So there's some people coming in to kind of realize that there are teachings that are not like readily available yet to mankind. We've kind of been focusing on more surviving, pretending like we are thriving, but it's still surviving. That's where you see we are pretending to be all in love, and we have family and friends, and we have a good salary and all this stuff. Like in Norway, we have free healthcare, like all this stuff that has been given. But then we see that most people get sucked into inheritance and kind of jealousy and separation, and that life falls apart, and you get sucked into family drama or drama with your husband or wife, that the exes, or your husband, or your parents, or your grandparents, or different things like your mother-in-law or your father-in-law, and your kids. So even if we think we have moved through this age of enlightenment, we're still kind of stuck in an age of survival yet. And that is where the masculine has worked good till now, where we kind of are lifting each other. We're like underwater, and we kind of have oxygen masks on. And we're like, we think we're not underwater, but we are underwater. Women sometimes feel it more because water represents emotions, that worry, the scare, that all these emotions, sadness, all this stuff that the baggage we're carrying with us. And then we kind of come together and we gain energy, spirit, breath from, when we get married or we fall in love, we come together more. Two people, and then one maybe have more energy and you can kind of share your mask to others. Or you come together with your friends, your girlfriends, and somebody's always usually one that might help more the others. Everybody has their different role in a community like that. Then they give their energy, and then when you come together, you're like, ooh, I have so much energy. I have so much, I feel so alive. Or sometimes you go off on journeys, and then you actually get off of water and you go on land, and you're like, oh, life is great. There's so much energy here. There's so much air. I can breathe so freely. So this is kind of realizing that we are kind of still dependent upon energy. We're still dependent upon air, which comes from spirit, which kind of, you see that a lot of people feel energized when you have a little baby, that precious little thing. You suddenly feel so in love. So that's where you feel so in yourself, then you can feel so in love. And because the baby brings that seed of spirit more, it has more energy. We have a little bit and they have kind of more. And then we all kind of tap into that energy. The baby shares herself or himself. So we have more energy. So then for a while, we're all kind of lifted and we can breathe more freely. So our mind just looks outside what we have. And then in these days, we do have more energy available, more spirit, but we have kind of made it. We have manufactured this. We've kind of created engines that create energy, compressors that compress energy. So we're like underwater with a mask on, and that mask, we need energy. So we're close to kind of something that produces energy, air, compresses it so we can have it. So that's why most of us are like still in a survival mode. We're like, I need money, I need this, I need that, because that gives me energy, that fills me up. So we feel good. We feel like we are at the age of enlightenment and we are so well off. So then we're like, we should all be friends, and we should all just share, and we should all just we should all just be like magnificent. And yet, when a little shaking going on, we realize that we are underwater, that there's a tsunami or shaking, our mask falls off, or we have been able to kind of sneak up on the island. We found an island and we're like, oh, this is great. I don't need a mask here. And so we protect it. But then a tsunami comes or rain comes and we get pushed into the water again, and we are realizing that the water is still here, and in the water we still need the mask on, and then we want to protect our energy. So this is kind of like the energy body. Our spirit, like you see, when people have more energy, they have less energy. We get exhausted. We get sad. All these things we can kind of get dragged into. And people don't realize that we kind of just don't want to talk about it because we want to pretend like everything is great. Well, hello. And then we have a little baby here too. So a little lotus flower baby. And she's wondering why she can't see anyone here. So underwater, we realize that we kind of are dependent upon air. And then, but gradually, because we don't really kind of ascend, we kind of just think we're good. We don't really take time to realize that there's a way of kind of saving energy, of kind of nurturing it and being more at ease with the emotions, with the things that happen. But then we got more trained by people like, no, you have to worry about the monitor for the oxygen level and all these things. You have to worry about it. You have to look at it all the time. The baby wants to go for a walk. That's what babies, they have this connection. They have more spirit and more energy. And then you see that the parents, they know that, wow, that energy is like rare. But they also get kind of more energy from it for a little bit. And they get lifted off, and then they find the island and they almost can fly. So they feel so much air, but they still know that by themselves they're not going to be able to do it. But with the baby that is just intuitively just doing, then you can just look at the baby and take care of the baby and give the baby energy and just let the baby kind of thrive. So the baby is at ease underwater, at ease on the islands, at ease in the flying, for that matter. But the parents know that the baby doesn't necessarily know how to do this. It's not stable by itself. So it gets helps, and that's what we do. We give energy. We take care. We know the dangers. Stay away from the sharks. Stay away from all this stuff. So we just stay close to the oxygen. Or if we find an island, we stay away from other people. Stay away from. Or if we are up flying, we kind of support and make sure the baby doesn't fall off the airplane. So we are kind of like supporting the baby. So that's where you see like the parents, when they look at the baby, they just feel this love. And it's almost just, you kind of let go of all the worry. You let go of thinking about all the stuff. You can realize that you're just in this bliss, this love. You're just like seeing that spark, that energy, that aliveness. And you're just in that gratitude that is natural. But yet, you know that without the baby, by yourself, you're not going to be able to fly and be that high and free and have that much energy. So you kind of have already kind of been kind of knocked down. So from the baby, as the baby starts growing, it starts to realize it has to manage by itself, and then we start learning how to survive. And the more we get surviving, we get more focusing on your equipment, everything. So then this is kind of what happened to me because I was a diver, a clearance diver in the military. And when you in the military, that's more the masculine, it's more out of survival because you're not taught to breed or anything like that. You're not taught to like look at it all the time. You learn these techniques. You have to, before you even go into the water, you go into a pool, inside pool, and you have to learn how to kind of empty out your mask of water underwater below. So you have to stay like focused, and there's like a group of you, and there's one of you that leads the other. So there's always like, and you shift. So there's always, you're kind of a group, and it's everybody's helping each other to figure out how to do it, and they support each other. But it is kind of for survival. And then we get pulled into tanks that pressure tanks that go put you down below like 50, 60 meters underwater. Then you get you get intoxicated with nitrogen, but you have to kind of train yourself to just stay calm. You get introduced to this war mentality, and then you to stay calm all the time. So then I never dove, I never scuba dived for pleasure. I just did it. We had to be down, we had to unplug explosives, different exercises. So it's just the focus of survival, and you can train yourself, like do this, do that. So that is how the world is, and how our parents try to train us to like do this for money, do that, do this to get husband, do this for the best education, do this to keep more money in the family, inheritance, all this stuff. And that works when everybody's working together, but then there will be some people that are their way of living is a little opposite than yours. So then you get like into situations. I'm like talking so much here. I'm bubbling. So we got we don't even see him. We got the little cabins here. The energy, we got the retreat energy going. So when I, like 10 years later, I was going to go scuba diving. And I hadn't scuba dived since. And then I was just like fascinated. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. So I was so excited. But I've never been excited before. So they talk about like, look at your like monitor, oxygen, make sure you have enough. So I was looking at it all the time. And what happened when you're excited, sometimes you breathe, you're out of excitement, you breathe so fast. So I was breathing faster than I didn't even know I was breathing. I was just elated, kind of. And suddenly I was like, whoa, it's like the oxygen goes down really quickly. And then suddenly I'm like, oh, I'm like out of oxygen. I have to go up. And then turns out everybody else, they had like almost half an hour more of oxygen because they were just breathing relaxed. But I was just like so insanely fascinated with the breathing. I never thought about how do I breathe, how do I all this stuff. So I just became obsessed with scuba diving. And before I was just like, not, when I was in the military, I never really focus on it. You just had to relax. So that's where people can, when they learn stuff and all this stuff, they can be fascinated or you can be worried about your monitor or your equipment and all this stuff. And so then you breathe faster. So then you have to get out, you run out of oxygen. You get exhausted, what people call getting exhausted. And you get tired and you get sick and you get, because your energy is running out, your air is running out, your spirit. So then you have to, that's when Norway people are like, oh, finally vacation, finally vacation. So in Norway, we have created these stations of energy, stations of returning to oxygen, to the spirit of. So that's where religious people are like, oh, Norwegians, they're actually just returning to spirit when they're in the mountains, when they're on vacation. So we have kind of organized it like that. But you can also learn or realize that you can start to breathe slower, relax more. So when we start to realize that, that is what we're doing, the ease of life, is to realize that our energy, we can start to claim the space, use the energy. Not when we look at, and we look at everything and everything needs to be perfect, we breathe faster. But when we let go and trust in the process, we enter into the body and into our breath. That is where clarity comes, faith comes, wisdom comes. All this brings spirit, brings breath. And I had already experienced that in a different way. When I was little, my brother was deaf. He still is. And then my parents, so he lost his hearing before I got born. But it was kind of traumatic. He got sick, meningitis. So when I was little, my mom and dad were still sad about it, and they felt guilt and shame. And he then read their body language and very easily said stuff. And, he spoke sign language, which was not their primary way of communicating. So they misunderstood each other all the time. So when they were screaming at each other and crying or whatnot, I had to be like, guys, you're not listening to each other. He's not saying that. Because I was raised on sign language. So I was noticing, sign language is very body. So it's more, there's a peace when you are in your body. Then you communicate more kind of telepathy or like body language. You just, it's kind of an ease, natural ease when you talk. You just talk from like, with, and then about. But when you talk kind of almost from happiness. It kind of led me into this place, unbeknownst to myself. But when I only talked sign language for the first 3 years, so I kind of was given this kind of perspective that is rare, where I could be like, oh, my brother, like, no, you're misunderstanding. And I had to tell my parents that, no, they're like not listening to each other. So then I had to kind of claim the space and say, hey guys, I have to be the peacemaker. The peacemaker is like stepping in and saying, so you're taking thoughts and the energy and you're like stepping into truth and you're giving of yourself, you're giving peace. So that is where you kind of step into peace. You're bringing the energy in. And that's when you do that, when you set the stage, when you have friends and you set the stage, you prepare and you kind of bring the authority, bring the wisdom, bring the clarity. It brings energy. It brings spirit into the space. And when you do that, then you are breathing in a different way. You're breathing more peacefully. You're using your whole body. See, I kind of like, you can just sink back and hide and then be like, just step into the space and, or you can be like, Because a lot of people, when you're like wanting to be so serene and nice, you're like, I'm loving and I'm so pure. You're squeezing the energy you have up into your chest and then you're in this Mother Mary where you just are acting like monk like and serene. So you're like squeezing. But when you include your body, you also kind of claim the space, your sovereign space, the wisdom space of your body, of your life. So you step and you say, this is where it is. This is how this works. This is truth. This is clarity. Follow this. When you do this, when you claim that, you can feel it. Like with dogs, and cats, animals, they notice right away when you claim the space. They become more calm. When we do that with Carolina, she notices, she calms down. But when we're like up here, she goes up there too, and she becomes like, she goes all like she wants everything. But then when you calm down, when I just sit, and then suddenly she just looks at me and she starts playing by herself, and she becomes more peaceful. So it is kind of the same as, because if you're underwater, you have all these things you have to be afraid of or should be aware of. Like you might meet a shark. Well, if you see a shark and you just flee, that shark will bite you, will eat you. But if you claim the space and you stay and you observe and you stay open and connected, you connect with your eyes, with your space, and they will not attack you. So there are dangers out there, but when you have enough energy, you have enough air, and you have enough peace, it's more easy to act wisely. It's easy to get to see situation. You see, like it's like the baby, she can walk around, and you can see, if I'm watching, I can see she's like sometimes doing stuff, but she can break stuff, and sometimes she almost breaks stuff, but there's almost like this open innocence that exists, and that's like spirit. But we're kind of protecting it. But when we have trust, that is where we dare to be in that open innocence. That's where the baby has this open innocence to her parents, to life. So she stays breathing more naturally, and then she can more easily just figure stuff. That's why she's learning how to walk, learning to talk. She's not taking it as a rejection. Oh no, I don't know how to talk. I need to learn it tomorrow. I need to learn it. No, you don't want to tell them. You don't want to focus too much. Because the more you have to learn it, the more you start worrying about it. And then you're kind of blocking. You start to breathe too fast. And you're not able to kind of connect with the wisdom within. So the process here is that we are starting to allow this innocence, this spirit to come in, this energy to come in again. And the more we realize that when we allow time to allow more energy to come in, we come from, everybody says that you have a seed of, you're a spiritual seed. It's a little seed in you. But you can become a spiritual flow, a waterfall of energy, of spiritual energy. But to do that, you have to allow to claim your space, to claim wisdom, to claim clarity, to claim truth, to dare to look at what is exhausting you. When something is exhausting you, it's because you're giving it too much attention. You're not daring to trust. When you trust, you stay with it. And then you see, oh, I see the shark. Well, I can't just totally let go of the shark. If I do, then they can come from behind. But I have to stay with it. But I'm not going to run from it, because they can hit me from. So you have to dare to look at dangers, but not just totally get lost in just, because then you start running, then your mind will start like feeding you all kinds of, you have to get back. If you focus too much on them, then you start breathing too fast, and then you have to go and get more air eventually. Well, if you stay calm, your energy, your oxygen stays longer, and you can handle the situation better. So the use of life is to realize there is ease, there is this spiritual energy in us, this breath that we can come to harness. And as we do, we start realizing we don't have to be in the water all the time. Gradually, we find land. It's like when you go on vacation, you find land, but still on land there might be bears, so or there might be other people, so you have to still stay calm. And gradually, you might find an airplane, and you might be able to fly. But still, if you fly, you still have to be. You can't be afraid of the water. If you're not at ease with water, you might get so worried about crashing that you will crash, or you lose energy, and you have to land on the water, and you still get taken by the water again. So water kind of represents our emotions and our worries and all the stuff that can pull us down, pull us underwater. We kind of, when we suddenly are up in the mountains and we just are, it's a blue sky, and we're like, the air is just filling us. And we all know that that's when we feel the most at ease. And here it is to realize that we can be at ease with our emotions, ease with dangers like the shark, ease with flying, ease with bears. You might have to have some bear spray or whatnot, or live a little wisely, not make too much smelling and have too much garbage that creates attracts the bears. So there's all these things but when we are filled more with spirit, then we will be wiser and take wiser choices. But in the process, we also have to look at these different things. So as you are filled, you come here on the retreat or mini retreat, or it is a place I'm guiding you to open up to more of that natural energy, that natural spiritual energy that is there. And then it can fill you up in your chest, in your belly, or in your chest, or in your mind. And it can start when you become more innocent in your emotion, innocent in your mind, innocent in your body. You just become more open and trusting in all these situations. And then you will start noticing that, sometimes there will come at night after this, you might suddenly sleep really well, but you also might suddenly feel like you're sleeping like uneasy, because all this darkness, all these fears come up, because suddenly you see more. You are awakened to more of life. The potential, even the potential of being at ease, can be scary. Most of life, I know you should not focus on it. Just go to a psychologist or go to the doctor. Don't open to this. Don't open the spirit, because that's scary stuff. That's scary stuff. But this is a new time where humanity is, the energy of humanity has opened up. We have gone through this enlightenment process, so we see more of life. So we realize that there's a potential, but we also, what we have forgotten was that we also need our breath. We need the energy to come in. I can say, I want energy, but you're just tensing up. You can try to open, but it's forced. Instead, you have to say, yes, I want energy. It is a receiving. It's not a demanding. It's a receiving. It is there, but only when you smile, relax and enjoy, then it is yes, 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 yes. Let it fill you. So that's what we're doing here. We're letting it fill us. That's why Ease of Life is kind of fun. But for most, we've been taught to like, nope, stay focused on your equipment and the monitor for the energy and all this stuff and take life so seriously. So then we start becoming so tense and serious. Then we have less and less and less energy. While when we open up, we can have more and more and more energy, and we can open the chest and we can feel it cracking and open up our jaw and open up our spine. And with that said, whether you are here for the first time or you're on the Patreon or on the YouTube or you're on a cabin somewhere tuning into this one, you are welcome. And we're going to go into the second part where you kind of lay back. You might already be like falling asleep from this talk. No, because that's what happens when you relax. So lean back, maybe put a blanket on. You might get cold, or you might be in the sun sitting outside. So you have to cover yourself because you're getting sunburned. So lean back. And we're going into the kind of meditative or like relaxations phase of the talk. So just lean back, just kind of let your head, your neck open, open your jaw up a little bit, drop your shoulders, just close your eyes might be good too. Yeah, and just lift up your hips a little bit, like open up that chest of yours, open up your shoulders, open up your hands, your wrists, stretch them out. And lift up your hips a little bit more. And then the energy is kind of coming down seemingly from outside into the body, into the chest, into the belly. And stretch out your knees and toes a little bit. Stretch them forward. And let the energy come down between the groin and all the way down between your legs, down into your knees, into your toes, out into your fingers, out into your shoulders, and your hips kind of opens up. Yeah, and just drop your shoulders a little bit more, shake them loose. As we kind of guide, we allow the spirit, we allow the energy to come even more. It can be like a tingling energy or a little pain energy or burning, or it can be you can feel a little cold energy coming in. Or tingling sensations, or kind of like a stiffness, like kind of like you just want to stretch and move a little bit. So just like at night, sometimes you just feel a little stuck and you just move to the other side. Shift your balance. You kind of do this at night intuitively or unconsciously. Stretch out your knees, your legs a little bit, your arms, stretch them out. Open up your mouth like a yawn as you kind of let the energy through your groin and down into your feet and the earth, all the way down into the energy body. And then it kind of becomes quiet, like silent, just like sometimes when you fall asleep or just suddenly feel like when you fall asleep, you just becomes this silence, like this darkness, silence, yes. There's this silent breath coming in. Might be this movement in your chest or in your shoulders or wherever you are. And it's almost like you can get a little dry in your mouth. It's almost like you're starting to get a little hungry or thirsty. As the energy shifts, there's more spirit coming in. Yeah, and it comes all the way down into the ground and then fills your ankles, your toes, up into the ball of your foot, up into your knees, up into your groin, up into your belly, up into your chest, up into your shoulders, up into your jaw and your yawn, up into your head, up into your eyes, and out. And it's like you can open up your eyes again, and suddenly there might be more sun coming in, or there's more silence, so your ears start ringing, or different stuff as the energy start. It's like a tingling, opening up, or you might just want to stretch, and like as you awaken, you come back in, and we are open and done for this session. Which is, if you're new here, this is the kind of how we do every Wednesdays, or many times on retreat. So this was a little bit of a mini retreat since it's kind of Easter, and when people kind of, some of you might want to bring, if you are like not in Oslo or not in Chicago but elsewhere, you can come together in a little group and watch, and the group mentality kind of gives a little bit of helping to support to kind of relax. And then you can pay me on Vips or Venmo or PayPal, or then gradually come into the sanctuary and do a membership and come join these Wednesdays as we tap down in and start to allow more air in, allow more energy in, and start to awaken this body being, starting to walk the ease of life. As it takes time, you have to kind of give it time to manifest. It's not of the mind, it's not out of the logic that you had before. It is a trust, it is a surrender to a process. So that's why it's called a trusting the process, so that you can harness and come into the spiritual energy of life. And with that said, if you're watching this live now, or you might watch it later, or you might watch it on YouTube or wherever you are, I might post it on YouTube. So if you have somebody who want to tap it into this and you want to share it to somebody, send them the link and just have them kind of Venmo me or Vips me or PayPal me or whatever. So to help them to kind of tap into the energy, because it is a sharing. So you kind of have to share to connect with the energy. It is so easy, and yet we in our world become more like everybody wants to hide and figure out and analyze and worry and hoard onto stuff, instead of more the feminine, which is the family, the sharing, the loving of life, which is the ease of life. Anyway, it has been a beautiful day. We have talked for a good while, and it is the beautiful start of Easter. So that's kind of fitting. I got all yellow here too for some reason. I've just been attracted to those colors more. I usually don't have this shirt on, but yeah, it fits good. So wherever you are, if you have questions, reach out. You can text me on the sanctuary, or on Facebook or Instagram, or you can even email me on my webpage. You can reach out there and say hi. It's a submission thingy, I think there is there. If you have questions, if you're in America or Europe or wherever you are, and you want to try to kind of create your own little community and want me to come or want to connect online, or you want to have a retreat there, like let me know what's going on, and I will be happy to hook you guys up in one way or another to the space. So anyway, let me know how you slept or how you felt this session was, and if you have any questions, this might like go follow you over through the Easter and the next few weeks, and you might have some questions and other stuff Might be some weird stuff happening. So reach out to me or to somebody else who's in the space and ask your questions, and you are welcome. And welcome here. You're welcome. Welcome here. And I will talk to you guys soon. Or next Wednesday when the next one is. Have a beautiful day, guys, and welcome.